Hi, superstars. It is time for English. We are on Unit 5, Week 2, and our weekly concept is trees. Let me get my pen. All right, our question that we are going to ask right here is, how do living things change as they grow? Let's look at this picture. It shows many different trees. The older trees are taller and the younger one is smaller. Look at this tree. It's smaller than the other trees. So, do you think that tree is going to grow to be a big tree? Maybe. Can you describe the trees in this picture? Which of the trees is the smallest? This one looks the smallest, right? And which tree do you think is the youngest? Do you think it's the same tree? It might be. It looks the smallest and it might be the youngest because it's still growing. So there's trees in the picture that are the same. How are they the same? And there's trees that are different. How are they different? Let's watch a video that's going to explain how things change as they grow. More specifically, how trees change.
Trees. How do living things change as they grow? All living things change as they grow. A tree begins as a tiny seed. The seed grows into a small plant called a sapling. Soon, buds grow on the tree's branches. The buds grow into flowers. Trees change during each season. The leaves on a tree change color, fall to the ground, then new leaves grow each spring. What are other ways living things change as they grow?
All right, let's look at these pictures about trees. So this picture is showing an acorn. So an acorn holds a tiny seed, and after it falls from the tree, it can grow into a new tree. So this is a full-grown adult tree. It has big green leaves and a thick trunk that's covered with bark. And right here is a sapling. It's a very young tree, and it will keep growing into a bigger tree. All right, let's read this song or poem. It is called My Oak Tree. My oak tree. I saw a little acorn lying on the ground. I put it in my pocket, told Daddy what I found. He helped me plant it in the earth. Up came a little tree. Just see what we have grown, my daddy and me. An oak tree. So what does the child find? An acorn, right? And what happens when the child plants the acorn in the ground? It grows into an oak tree. Let's go over some vocabulary words. The first word is enormous. Can you repeat that? Enormous. The mall is an enormous building with many shops. Enormous. Something that is enormous is very large. Enormous. Okay, our next vocabulary word is amazing. To be amazing is to be surprising and wonderful. Let's look at an example here. The fruit that grows on trees is amazing. Amazing. All right, our next word is imagine. Imagine. I can imagine what happens at a carnival. When you imagine something, you see it in your mind. Imagine. Develop. Develop. To develop is to grow. Develop. Trees develop into big plants. Develop. Content. Content. I am content when I spend time with my family. Content. When you are content, you feel happy and satisfied. Content. Our next word is are. This is a high frequency word. The word are. Ted and Ed are friends. Let's spell are together. A-R-E. Are. Ted and Ed are friends. All right, we're going to read about the ways one amazing tree develops as the years pass. So how do you think the tree might change as it grows? Before we start reading, the main topic is what the text is mostly about in the story. So details or key details tell about the main topic. So knowing the main topic of a selection is going to help you better understand the text. Now, sometimes it might not make sense to you as you're listening or reading. So you can reread or read again, and that will help you better understand the text. So right here, this is the title page. Let me get my pen. This is the title page right here. This is the title page of the book. Now, when we read, remember, we always read from left to right, okay? So the title is A Grand Old Tree. Remember, left to right as we are reading. The author is Mary Newell de Palma. Now, the author is the one who writes the story, and in this case, the person who draws the picture is the illustrator, and that's also Mary Newell de Palma. So she is the author and the illustrator. This story, A Grand Old Tree, is an informational text. So an informational text gives facts or information about things that happen in real life. All right, we are going to begin.
For Pat, Bridget, John, Tom, Mike, and Jean, love Mary. A Grand Old Tree by Mary Newell de Palma. Once there was a grand old tree.
Okay, so when they say grand over here, right? Oops, let me get my pen again. Sorry about that. When they said there was a grand old tree, let's try it again. A grand old tree. Let me get it. All right, when they say grand old tree, what they mean is, right here, grand, what they mean is big and wonderful. So once there was a grand old tree, a big and wonderful tree.
Her roots sank deep into the earth. Her arms reached high into the sky. She was home to many creatures. Birds nested among her branches. Squirrels scurried through her leaves. Caterpillars and ladybugs crawled about.
So what is the main topic that these pages tell about? It's telling us that the tree was home to many creatures. And what key details tell about the big idea? Well, birds nested, squirrels scurried, and caterpillars and ladybugs crawled.
The grand old tree flowered.
So I know that the tree had many leaves before it flowered, and I wonder what will happen after it flowers. So let's continue reading to find out.
Bore fruit.
So what's growing on the tree now? Fruit. So when it says bore fruit over here, bore, that means it made or it grew fruit.
And sowed seeds. She had many children.
Okay, listen as I reread these pages. And sowed seeds. She had many children. So who are the tree's children? Little trees. The text tells us that the tree sowed seeds. And we know that seeds grow into trees. So sowed over here means spread.
They changed the landscape for miles around. Perhaps even farther than the old tree knew.
So let's look at this illustration, the picture. Where does the bird take the seed? So if we look at the bird picking up that seed, where's the bird over here taking the seed? All the way to the ocean, far away.
The grand old tree lived a long, long time. She basked in the sun, bathed in the rain, swayed in the breeze, and danced in the wind. She grew and shed.
So what different kinds of weather does the tree live in? It lived in the rain. I see sun, snow, and wind. And how does the tree change in the pictures? It gets bigger and it has more leaves, and it also bears fruit. So when they say shed, that means lost or had something fall off. So shed is to lose or something falls off. So let's see what it shed.
Many millions of leaves. At last, the grand old tree was very, very old. Her branches no longer swayed and danced, but cracked and snapped in the wind.
All right, so let's look at the word swayed. So I wonder what swayed means. The texts say that the branches no longer swayed and danced in the wind. So I think swayed means moved back and forth.
Finally, she fell. Snow gently covered her.
So over here, snow gently covered her. Gently means in a soft way. So can you picture in your mind the grand old tree falling down? Try to imagine the noise it would make. In the illustration, we can see that all of the animals came to look.
The old tree died. She no longer flowered, bore fruit, or sowed seeds.
So what's the main topic on these pages? The old tree died. And what details tell about the main topic? Well, the tree no longer flowered and it no longer bore fruit or sowed seeds.
But she was still home to many creatures. Raccoons nested in her trunk. Centipedes crawled along her branches, and lichen grew on her bark.
All right, let's listen as I reread to find out what lives in the grand old tree now. But she was still home to many creatures. Raccoons nested in her trunk, centipedes crawled along her branches, and lichen grew on her bark. So raccoons, centipedes, and lichen now lived in the grand old tree. What other animals do you see in the picture? I see mice. Do you see the mice? So now animals live in the grand old tree.
The grand old tree slowly crumbled. She became part of the earth. Today the roots of her grandchildren sink deep into this earth. Their arms reach high into the sky.
So the word sink right here, that sometimes means a place where we wash our hands, right? A sink. What do you think the word sink means on this page? It means to go down. So what sinks deep into the earth? Roots.
They are home to many creatures. Just like the grand old tree.
All right, so what is the main topic of this selection? The main topic is the life of a grand old tree. And what are some details? That the tree grows roots and flowers, then leaves fall and it dies. That was a nice story. Okay, let's turn to page 53 in our close reading companion. We're at 53. A grand old tree. What words does the author use to make the tree seem like a person? And it asks you to write the words. So let's go back and see what words, or do you remember what words the author used? Let's go back and look at the book. Okay, let's reread so we can understand. So the author says over here on page 7, her arms reached high into the sky. So it asked, what words does the author use to make the tree seem like a person? It said her arms, right? So let's go back. So we are going to write her arms. Her and arms. Those are the words that the author used to make the tree seem like a person. Her and arms. Make sure you write your name up at the top and put the date there too. Okay, so down here it says the tree is like a person because. So how is the tree like a person? What are the tree's arms? The branches. So it has branches like arms, and the author uses her to tell about the tree. So he is calling the tree her. And the branches are like arms. So we're going to write over here, it has branches like arms. And the author, you're going to write this. The author uses her, the word her. To tell about the tree. Now turn to page 54 in your close reading companion. And at the top it says, why does the author put the words on the page this way? And you're going to draw the tree and make a label. You're going to tell parts of the tree with a label. Okay, so let's go back and look at the story and look at the page that they are talking about. So on page 54, it's asking, why does the author put the words on the page this way? Do you see how the words are put this way? So it's put beneath this tree here, and it's put above. See, these are the roots. So the words are put up here, and then the words are put down here. So these words look like the top of the tree, and these words look like the roots of the tree, right? So the shapes are of the tree and of the roots. Do you see that? All right, let's go back. Okay, so we're on 54. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw the tree over here, and you're going to make a label. So the label can show the roots. So you're going to put a label on your drawing, and you can either show where the roots are, you can label the branches, you can label the tree trunk. So you're going to draw, these are roots, right? So this would be underground, and this would be the trunk, and you're going to draw your tree however you want. But I want you to label it. So the roots are under the ground, and then this right here is the trunk, and then you can draw tree branches, and you're just going to label your tree. Now, down here, the words help me think about. So when we looked at the words on the page of the book, remember, we're asking why did the author put the words on the page that way? And it was because he was or she was drawing the words under the tree to look like roots or above the roots to look like the tree, right? So the words help me think about the shape of the tree and of the roots. So down here, we're going to write, it helped me think about the shape of the tree and the shape of the roots. So the shape of the tree and the roots. All right, make sure your name is at the top of your page. All right, until next time, superstars, have a wonderful day. Bye.